Hello, my lovely audience. Anyway, welcome to another video. Hey, yeah. So then, oh, neat. So, this what if is very popular with y'all, as I can see. So let's continue it. I'm also going to be doing continuations of all my other recently made what ifs. You know, the vampire what if, the bloodborne what if. And I'm busy working on a hero version of the sludge villain what if as we speak. It's just taking a long time because, once again, sludge villain is quite literally in the name. So, yeah. Okay. So, League of Villains hideout. Deku's just chilling there, with Cammy and Ichinos and Koda. He's playing cards with Koda, and they're all playing Uno, pretty much. They're pretty much just playing Uno. Wait, give me a moment. In the last video, did I or did I not have Toga and Darby? And no, I didn't. Yeah. Okay. So, Toga and Darby enter the hideout. Deku pulls out a knife, like Toga. Yeah. So, he tries to shank her, she tries to shank him. Darby tries to burn Shigaraki to even more of a crisp than he already is. Try and dry him out even more. Like, really, Shigaraki must burn very easily, since he's just so dry. And, well, Shigaraki's trying to turn Darby from a burnt chicken nugget to a dried out chicken nugget, if you get what I'm saying. Man, I'm making a lot of jokes. Good grief. Like, I feel like I'm in a Slimesicle video. Heh, neat. But just the amount of jokes I'm making. Okay. Anyway, yeah, they do that. And, well, Kurogiri stops him using his portals, and, everything goes as it did in canon, and they plan the summer camp attack. So, when everyone arrives there, we skip ahead past the whole running through the forest thing. Deku just casually walks towards it and blows up any rock golems he sees, utilizing the help of Ichinos to just turn them to nothing but sludge on the ground, I guess. Like, they get turned into concrete. I just resisted making a very bad joke. And that's cement, baby! Oh, I am so sorry for that joke. If you get the reference, you get the reference. If you don't get the reference, then apologies. I couldn't help myself. Okay. Serious mode on. I just really like this what if. So then, sorry if this is a bit less quality than the first one. So then, upon Deku reaching the summer camp, he meets Koda there. They exchange a little talk. When Bakugo and the others get there, Koda is instead of Deku getting punched repeatedly in the crotch, it's Bakugo. Deku is, and Ichinos, and, Cammy. Sorry, my brain.exe is not really working right now. All just giggling a bit at this. Like, Bakugo repeatedly getting punched in the crotch is just funny to them. Koda would quickly go to Izuku and hide behind his leg and stick his tongue at Bakugo. Bakugo acting like an angry Pomeranian. Well, Bakugo would act super angry when, I'll say... Did I? No, I didn't. Okay, I didn't skip the sports festival. Bakugo is screaming at Deku well, Izuku as he knows him. I believe, yeah, I think so. Sorry, it's been a few days, I'm a bit rusty, and I don't have exactly the time to rewatch the old video. Yeah, I can either record this one or rewatch the other one, because I don't have a lot of time here. Yeah, sorry. I have about 30 minutes. So, Bakugo's yelling at Deku. Momo would just walk past him, ignoring him, and ask, "You and, that kid seem to be quite close. Would the two of you have known each other?" Deku would respond with, oh yes, okay, so I'm gonna tell you how Deku and Koda met. Deku would say, "Oh yeah, I had saved him from from a pedophile, and I gave him a switch knife in case he ever would end up in that situation." Deku would say, because he actually did. That's how him and Koda met. Deku would have been walking casually down the street, looking for his next victim as Jack the Ripper. And, well, this would be relatively late at night. Koda would have snuck out of his house to run away again, but he would be cornered into an alley by a pedophile. Deku would have taken a knife and stabbed the fuck out of him. Stabbed him so many times, like cutting off an entire arm in the process. He wouldn't tell them this. He would just tell them that he knocked out the villain, but he killed him. He killed the pedophile. And whilst, yeah, he did give him a switch knife. Not like one of the small ones, like a big-ass one. One that can be used as a murder weapon. You know, he would give him a switch knife, and, well, from that point on, Koda would be working for Deku. Currently, I have the idea of Submaripper for Koda's villain name, as you would say. If you can think of any better names, yeah, Aqua Ripper instead. Yeah, Aqua Ripper. That's less fishy and more watery. If you have any better suggestions for the name, tell me in the comments. But yeah, in my opinion, well, not my opinion, more so this is all I could think of. Aqua Ripper. So Deku would have saved him, and from that point on, they would have been partners in crime, you could say. Yeah. Momo's like, "Oh, that explains why he seems to be so attached to you. Apologies for being rude about that. I know that kind of event can be quite traumatizing." Koda would just stick his tongue out at Momo, with the classic Koda glare of "fuck off." You know that whole glare Koda has of "I am going to kill you in your sleep." Oh, goodbye. Uh, I need to go help with the restraint of Katsuki. She would say, creating a rope to help tie him up so he doesn't maul a child. So, the attack comes, and blue fire streaks. Koda's in his hiding spot, and, well, everything goes almost as canon. But when Deku encounters Muscular, he draws his knife and would say, "Oh dear, would you look at that? The muscle-bound meathead is coming for round 2. Killing off one generation wasn't enough for you, huh?" The muscle-bound idiot known as Muscular would freeze in his tracks. You know, he was about to beat the shit out of Koda. Turn around and say, "Who the fuck are you?" "A member of the League, like you. but I prefer to keep, well, myself, my existence, and my appearance a secret. You probably could have heard of me by now. Have you ever heard of the name Jack the Ripper? A thick fog would roll in as the surrounding area would be transformed into, well, the streets of London. I heard that you like to kill. Well, why don't we just kill this little snot-nosed rat? Where did he go? Deku would respond with, "Apologies, dear. I don't exactly kill children. You know how it is. And, well, unfortunately for you, that snot-nosed brat happens to be one of my employees, you could say. And, well, I treat my employees if they were family." He would say, taking out a switchblade. It's switching, well, yeah, taking out a switchblade. It's switching from basically just a glorified stick to a knife. Well, a glorified piece of metal. So then, Muscular, are you willing to have this duel? He would say, bending over and taking a bow whilst taking his hat off. You know, that classic kind. "I'm gonna kill you," he would say, charging at Deku. I would not count on it. Deku would say, cutting Muscular, him raising his arms to block, but then both of his arms get cut off and cut right through. "How did... my arms!" Deku would point his knife to the villain's head. Oh, you really are wondering this when come to face with the legendary killer, Jack the Ripper. Did you not see what I did to Endeavor? Oh, I'm guessing you're too busy strolling around town like you don't care to even realize when you're the one in danger. Koda would walk out of the fog, quite angry at Muscular, because he killed his parents. Deku would take his knife, well, no, he would take his knife away from Muscular's head and say, "Dear Koda, how about you get your first kill? Would that be lovely? How about that?" A little bit of a sick grin would appear on Koda's face as he would take the switch knife Deku gave him, said knife happening to be, well, a knife that Deku used his quirk on, making it a weapon capable of leveling a building. He would get closer and closer to Muscular, who would begin to beg and plead for his life, Koda raising up the knife, and then all that can be heard is screams, and all that can be seen is blood spewing across the ground. Koda would return to the wild, wild pussycats, covered in blood, and holding, well, not holding his knife, but much rather holding his arm, faking to be injured. His aunt, which I believe to be the leader of the Wild Wild Pussycats. It's been like a while since I have seen this. If I'm being honest, I am a shit person when it comes to names. I can only remember Tiger and Mundalay. Or Mundalay. I'm just gonna call it Mundalay. 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 Yeah, Mundalay. I think it's Mundalay. I don't know. But as she would be checking on Koda would reach into his pocket, take out his knife, unflip it, and stab her in the stomach, and then bring it up before kicking her away. Blood would spew out of her as she would wonder why. The rest of the Wild Wild Pussycats would be in disbelief. Koda would be stood there, a sadistic, psychopathic smile on his face, as he revels in his aunt's screams. The one person who you would think would understand him, who you would think would be able to listen to him, when the rest of the world condemned him for his beliefs that heroes and villains are just pointless and meaningless. The one person he had left who didn't even listen. Another person, another flower in the field of pretty, perfect flowers, is now there, at his mercy, screaming in agony. It's a symphony to him. The terror, the fear, the disbelief in her face, in the rest of their faces, the sheer ecstasy of it. Oh, it's driving him mad with enjoyment, hearing her screams. I can see why Jack loves this so much. I can see why. Oh, this is wonderful, Koda would say with a uneasy vibe, you could say. Spreading his arms out as if a showman on a stage. A grin, not a grin, a full-formed psycho smile strewn across his face. You're not Koda. What are you? Some villain? His aunt would say on the ground bleeding. Or maybe you're some villain with mind control, quack. She would continue to cough up blood. Koda would never do this. Koda would respond with, "Oh yes, I wouldn't do this. I would never dream of doing this. But with some help from my dearest of friends, from one of my dearest of friends, I realized that, well, for the world to truly be beautiful, it needs to be coated in a bathing of fear. It needs to bathe in fear. It needs to marinate in it. It needs every waking moment of it to be nothing but an endless cycle of sheer terror. Fear needs to be pumping through your very veins for this world to truly be beautiful. And, well, the whole heroes and villains thing is just nothing but an excuse for us to truly believe that we could be safe, that we could trust the people around us, that we will be protected. But truly in this world, the only genuine thing is fear. Anything else is nothing but a mask to hide your true intent. Heroes are nothing but money-hungry frauds, and villains are nothing but a bunch of psychopathic jackasses. I mean, really, why must I suffer like this every day? No one even willing to listen to me, listen to what I say, listen to what I do. A slight tear would form on Koda's face as he would cover his eyes. But he would say, "I understand now." He would lift up his head with a smile befitting a psycho killer, more than fitting it. I understand everything now, he would say, nearing his aunt. Tiger would try and stop him, but hands would come from the ground, stopping his movements. Stone hands. Koda would laugh and say, "You thought I was doing this alone? Oh no, I've had some help. Well, I've been helping them for a long time, so they decided to help me. Come out here, Jack! I want you to see the fear across their faces. Deku would walk out, take off his hat, and place it to his chest. He would say, "Oh, yes, I see what you have done, Koda. I'm quite proud." He would say with a warm, inviting smile that was not befitting of the moment whatsoever. Izuku? You're not Izuku. No one here is... The two of you aren't actually yourselves. There's no way that two people so nice, so kind, would do this. It has to be some kind of mind control, Mandalay would say, just attempting to find reason to the situation. Deku would open his mouth to say something, but Koda would stop him and say, "This is my moment." Deku would nod and go back, into a corner. He would back up into a corner and say, "Take however long you need, Koda." Koda would turn to Mandalay and say, "Oh, I've been mind-controlled my entire life to think that heroes were so good. But now, I'm finally free." As well, all that can be heard are screams of pain and terror. People begging for Koda to stop. People screaming in absolute pain and misery. Koda would be covered in blood, it dripping from his knife. A smile across his face, a smile that he has never had for years. A feeling of joy which never really existed in him ever since his parents died. Pure, unbridled happiness is the one thing he's feeling now. He just got his first kill. His second, his fourth, his fifth, and his sixth as well. He just, in one night, killed so much. He went from being so miserable to being so happy so quickly in one night. He was so sad to see the villain that killed his parents. But now he's so happy. He can't even describe his emotions. It's just pure joy and ecstasy that he finally killed that bastard. He finally killed everyone in his life that, in his eyes, did not even want to give him the time of day. He heard conversations where they were talking about just leaving him in an orphanage. His aunt always said no, but he heard them making the suggestions, or saying that they should just give him off for a few weeks so they can finally take a vacation and blah, 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 blah. But he's happy now. He's with Asuku, Ichinos, and he's with Kami. He's with them. He's with the closest people in his life since the death of his parents. And he's happy now. Those would be the thoughts going through Koda's mind as he would return to Izuku's side, excited and happy, reaching up, and Koda would pick him, and Deku would pick him up and put him on his shoulder. "The night's still long, Koda. How about we go get something to eat, and then we can continue with this bloodbath of the night." Koda would agree, as rather quickly, with a good old "Yes, sir, Jack." And on the wall would be written in bold letters, Jack the Ripper and the Aqua Ripper. The crime scene would be, well, bloody, as there would be no trace of any of the killers. And since, well, Koda's knife is unique in the fact that it can cut through just about anything and not leave any evidence, because, well, it cuts through things so smoothly that it would be almost impossible to pin it on, well, Koda or Izuku. Actually, it is impossible to pin it on Koda, Izuku, Kami, or Ichino's. Quite frankly, it's just too difficult. And given the fact that Koda is a child, why would he murder his aunt in cold blood? And it clearly states that Jack the Ripper was a part of this. But who is the Aqua Ripper? Could there be more people going by Jack the Ripper, followers of his that just kill without reason, rhyme or reason? That would be what many of the detectives are thinking, too scared to so much as even go out at night. The city would be on pretty much lockdown, with a curfew being placed on every night. But still, the people who don't listen, or the teens who go out despite their parents, they're found, but never found alive. When Koda or Ichino's or Deku or Kami were ever interrogated, they gave false information. Well, the cops didn't think it as false, but they were never speaking the truth. Koda even used his quirk to make it seem like he was crying whenever they brought it up. All a part of the Ripper's plan. Anyway, this hit different in my opinion. Like, really, I did not know I had that in me whatsoever. Like, good grief. I did not know that I could do this, in my opinion. Anyway, if you want a part 3, tell me in the comments or leave a like on the video. I'll do a part 3, definitely, if this video gets 12 likes or 5 comments, I guess. You know, I'm trying to do the classic YouTuber thing of setting like goals so that I know people like my stuff. Anyway, goodbye, my lovely, lovely audience, and I hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. And bye-bye, my lovely, lovely audience. Goodbye.